It's already August and I'm just sitting here wondering what's happening to 2016. I hope that July was an awesome month for you. Let me know in the comments how it's been. Now it's time to talk about the updates coming up next month. Hey guys, it's Divine from Merch.com with BTS Merchandising Review number 26. As every month, I'm giving you a quick overview of the updates ahead with tips on potential flips or investments. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask them in the comments below. This month we're seeing old school RS inspired updates, which so far has always been good for the game. Just think of the extra Grand Exchange slots, which were pretty awesome. Right now it is the Wilderness updates and skilling pets, but we'll probably also see Master Clues in RS3 in 2017, for example. Now the Wilderness updates were extremely well done on Old School, as they created the right risk versus reward balance, as Jagex added a bunch of new high-level monsters that were pretty tough to kill, with their own special drops that people really wanted to get. Now I feel like the RS3 team didn't quite execute this part well, as they created a good environment for skillers, but just too little to gain for PKers. Just look at the updates here. Divination can be trained without any gear at all, while constantly using up your energy that you gather here to gain more XP. Thus, if you die, you hardly lose anything other than XP per hour for having to run back. PKers will get bored of just being jerks after a while, and they will go elsewhere rather than just killing people so they don't get XP. Now, farming on the Herblore will give PKers a little bit of motivation, as Jagex will likely force you to make the potions next to the farming patch, like they do with the criminal bolts that you have to make next to the tree. Now the potion should initially have some value, but if the wilderness is not an interesting place for PKers, then nobody is going to need camouflage potions, so those will be useless. The luck potion is always an equation between how much there is to gain by using it versus what people are willing to pay for it. And I think in overall, unless it's like super clear how much advantage it brings, people really aren't going to use it that much, but that remains to be seen. And then the third potion is the aggression potion, which is kind of a nice to have, because most high level monsters are already constantly aggressive towards you, so it's really kind of a niche item for those few spots where that isn't the case, or for the few people that are too lazy to run away after a certain time when the monsters go unaggressive. So I think these three potions together are not like super convincing, and they won't end up being worth hundreds of thousands of GP, so that's not really an incentive for PKers to go camp those spots and kill the farmers either. And as a farmer, you don't need to carry anything even slightly valuable to be able to do your farm runs, so that doesn't help either. It's not like you want to kill a PKer for other stuff than the herbs or potions. Now the bandit camp could be interesting, but I fear the only way it'll be popular is if Jagex over-rewards players for participating. If this happens, it creates a good risk versus reward balance, but the problem is that either the collector walks out with the reward, or the PKer does. So the too big of a reward always ends up in a game, which will likely devalue a whole range of items if the bandit camp becomes a popular spot. I would have rather seen some new rewards from it that help with thieving or something, to prevent it from crashing existing items, but we'll have to see how this works out. For this update, you could try some flips and investments into cheapish gear, like around level 70, as that's probably what people are going to end up using the most, as well as common supplies for PKing. I would personally mostly stick with flips, as I feel that too few people would probably participate to warrant large-scale investments, but perhaps some short-term investments on the most promising items will work out just fine. The Slayer update also needs absurd rewards to get people to slay in the wilderness, as they have to use lower gear in every slot and thus make a lot of concessions on their DPS. Even something like a Slayer helm won't be taken there, so the XP rates will need to be bigger than someone in max gear outside the wilderness. People just don't want to risk millions unless they can gain them faster, so unless that's the case and this is like really rewarding, nobody is going to bother with Slayer in the wilderness. The hunter part is nice for skillers, but not interesting for PKers again. Skillers will just wear okay gear, bring huge amounts of food, and tank out the PKers, while the PKers can hardly make a profit as the skillers only hold charms and cheap gear. Adding banks to the Cape Founders though, now that's a crazy one. This means an additional 10 banks in the wilderness, which is really a lot, and these are really going to be hotspots for PKing. I wonder what rules they will have in regards to accessing these while being attacked, like how many seconds there are in between, so people can pretty much restock on their stuff. Now next up we have the Achievement Diary. It's good to see these released. I think the Chaos Elemental spot is going to be crazy for a while because everyone needs to kill one to be able to complete the tasks. Other than that, I don't think there's much risk people need to take here, unless Jagex requires you to bring all kinds of valuable setups to complete tasks. But if you look at the wilderness and overall, there really aren't that many important things like that, so it's probably not going to be the case, and you'll just have a lot of people with empty inventories running around the wilderness completing tasks. And overall, the wilderness updates will make people consume much more food. I think that's the main takeaway, so expect some increased demand there at least for a while. Moving on to the skilling pets, which are a nice addition, but won't really have a significant impact on the economy. Then we have the beach update, which gives us a lot of tradable junk rares as usual, that lowers the overall faith in non-discontinued rares. If you guys have questions about those, feel free to ask them in the comments below. I feel like I'm kind of done repeating my opinion about them. And finally, some probably very cool graphical updates that have no impact on merchanting, which rounds up the month. With all that said, I hope you enjoy your month, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again soon for another video.